I was born and raised in Sarajevo. It was before Yugoslavia. Now it's a country called Bosnia and Herzegovina. When the war started, I was 22 years old. I had no clue. I just wanted to listen to U2 concerts and make sure that I can get the hipster present for my girlfriend. But the war did happen, and I often say the war came upon us. It literally, physically, I went to bed one night and then I woke up to the airplanes and the bombing and shelling the next day. At the time, I was 22, I was a student union organizer, and we went down the street. It was a long alley that later unfortunately became called the Sniper Alley, but at the time, demonstrators organized, and we were carrying the banners and singing the songs to stop this madness from happening. Little did we know. But what changed my life is that at one point, a beautiful young colleague of mine, her name was Suada, she was 23, decided as a courageous one woman to literally cross the bridge to go to the other side, to try to talk out these people with guns from the madness that was about to commence. And as we were walking, I was about 3 steps behind her, the sniper fire got shot. And she fell down. And she was the first victim of the Bosnian War. This is April 6th, 10 o'clock in the morning, 1992. When the war continued, I was 22. I was the primary strength from a military standpoint. I could carry a lot. I could probably be trained to shoot. I was useless because I just was not trained or equipped to deal with the situation that happened to me. Similarly, my father, who was in his 50s, very accomplished businessman, who literally gave his life into building that country of Yugoslavia, also fell apart because everything that he knew, the professional contacts, the business world, just overnight disappeared. So he was lost and wandering in the wilderness of war. Who picked up the pieces, literally in my family and families across Bosnia, were the women. It was my mother who within a month was able to speak Ukrainian, Italian, and Romanian, which were the United Nations security forces. And that woman would go out and she would carry a big bag and she would go to the UN headquarters 200 meters down the street and knock on the door and use her broken Italian to explain that in our apartment building there are 5 babies. We need milk. And she would negotiate and get that milk, and she would go out and she would get us water, she would get us food, she would get us firewood, all the things that literally I had to go after her to execute. But that example of my own mother, and then writ large of hundreds of women I've seen in these communities who were able to say, even at the height of killing and genocide, there are mothers on the other side who are losing their sons too. And we will work together to first stop this bloodshed, and then once the violence stops, to work together to rebuild this country. And I have seen that in scores of other places around the world. And for me, making sure that policymakers who design and make decisions about how do we deal with war and peace see the value of the work of the Bosnian women I saw firsthand 20 years ago. And just as we are thinking about how many bombers we will send and how many bullets we will sell, we should also think, what are women's organizations in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan doing right now that should be part of our decisions, what war and peace will look like.